join me today as we are celebrating Jesus and how good he is. And I tell you, he's doing he has laid out the plans for some awesome things, and he's guiding us to it. So I'm very excited to share this today. Okay. So our program or department that has been focused on helping families with deaf children is growing, and is growing really fast. We have decided to change the name of that department, that program, to Sign and Thrive, and we have a new logo. So there's our logo, and it's like a family with a child that's deaf, and they're doing the I love you hands. And that really is a visual of what we want to see in our goals. We want to see that these families, these hearing families, are signing with their deaf children and giving them the most accessible language possible. Our Blended Bridges camp, some of you are familiar with that camp. That's the camp that we do every year in July. It's an ASL immersion camp. And that camp has been primarily focused on deaf children 5 and up, so deaf students who are a school age. Up until now, we have not been doing anything specifically for families with children, deaf children who are 5 and under. Just last year, we got word that the only intervention program called Beginnings, that's here in North Carolina, to help these families, had to shut down some of their services because of lack of funding. So they're not able to provide a lot of the help and support that these families desperately need. We've also, as we've been working with these families who have older deaf children, we've been informed that so many of them, especially in North Carolina, but across the country, as soon as they find out their child is deaf, they're not given enough information about the value and the critical need for their child to get language, and that the most accessible language for this child is a visual language, which is sign language. And they don't know. And so oftentimes these families don't choose to sign with their child until they're much older. And by a certain point, that language foundation that they so critically need for emotional stability and social development, academic development, all of that is related to their language foundation. They miss out on a lot of that, and some of that never develops if they don't get language soon enough. Having heard all this information, we felt like God was calling us to do something and to make a difference. So right now, we are in the process of making connections with all of the organizations who do provide some sort of services for these families to figure out where the gap is. Where is that information not being portrayed and given to these families? We are also in the process of creating an easy-to-understand brochure and a video to give to these families from day one so that they can have that information and make an informed decision on the communication methods with their children. We're also in the process of establishing a sign language intervention program for these families, which I'm very thrilled about. So far, there in this area, especially in eastern North Carolina, there is not much sign language support for these families at all. And so this program is very, very desperately needed. And the families need the loving support of people who really, truly care about them and care about their children, because they're going through a lot to find out that their child can't hear the way that they hear, is of a different culture than they are. It's a shock to these parents, and they need that loving, caring, Christ-like love support, and that's what we are here to provide. With God's power, we've been able to get into the loop with doctors, audiologists, early hearing detection agencies, and others to gather information from them, but to also make our case known and make sure they have this critical information. Through God, we've discovered a preschool that's in the works, and we're planning to work together with them. Their primary focus is going to be 3 to 5 years of age. And so what we see a vision for is we can work with these families when their baby is a newborn and start giving them that sign language foundation first. Then they can proceed to the preschool. but the preschool is definitely needed. And so we're grateful that that is in the works, because there has not been a preschool for deaf children here for many years. We're also connecting with some other individuals in various parts of the state who have the same passion as we do. We're making some connections with some other families and individuals who have this same passion and see the issue that is in the state. So we're going to become allies and partners together to work together to resolve this issue. It seems like a huge task, and it seems like one the world would say that we're not capable of doing. We can't achieve it, just this little group. But you know how I see it? We're David. And these children that are suffering from lack of language is Goliath. And God has called us, you too, to make a difference for these precious children. They have the right to have a thriving life, okay? And to know how much God loves them. And so that is what God has called us to do. And he's led us to establish this. And who knows what the future holds? I'm excited to just go along with this ride and what he's establishing. But I want to thank all of you personally for your prayers, especially for your support, for being here with us and worshiping here with us. You guys are part of this. This is something that God has called this little group to do, and I'm excited to see some of the differences that are going to be made. So, thank you for letting me share today.